I would like to introduce everyone now to Susan Kerber. Susan leads the partnership team at CaringBridge and works with partners who serve family caregivers and patients. Partners include hospitals, specialty clinics, nonprofits such as the American Cancer Society and AARP. Susan has a background in brand, digital engagement, marketing, and new business development. And I asked Susan to speak today because CaringBridge is an amazing tool. But a lot of us don't fully understand how vast that tool is under CaringBridge. And so it'll be really, really awesome for all of us to learn together how CaringBridge helps to connect people. And remember, we were talking about grow your support, your top 3 support and your other group, right? One of the ways is to utilize CaringBridge to do that. So let's welcome Susan.
Thank you. I'm very pleased to be here today.
Thank you so much for joining us.
Absolutely. Let me share my screen.
Thank you, you guys. It takes teamwork, right?
Sometimes it does, especially with technology. So as I was saying, CaringBridge is a 27-year-old nonprofit health platform that really surrounds family caregivers with support while they care for a loved one on a health journey. And CaringBridge is absolutely free. We are a donor-supported nonprofit. We were founded in 1997. And the organization offers tools to share and document a health journey, simplify care coordination, and really connect caregivers with a supportive community. And on top of it, CaringBridge addresses feelings of overwhelm, isolation, and loneliness, and improves emotional health and social connectedness. And we do have some research that we have done that I'll share in this deck that speaks to that. Next slide, please. So as I mentioned, we're a 27-year-old nonprofit. We were started when Mark Zuckerberg was 13 years old. And if you're still sort of struggling trying to grasp what CaringBridge is, if you think about something similar to a private Facebook page, only way better, because we don't share data, we don't sell advertising, there's no extraneous content. Really, people own their own page and they get to share out their health journey and they determine who sees the page. So 27 years ago, our founder, Sona Mary, got a call from good friends who had just given birth to a premature baby, baby Bridget. It really didn't look like baby Bridget was going to live very long. So they asked her to do what everybody did back then, which was call other family and friends and let them know. She did that for 3 or 4 days and shared updates on baby Bridget and became completely overwhelmed with trying to share the same information with everyone at the same time. So she went down to the basement of her home and she coded up the first CaringBridge page. And that page was called Caring for Bridget. Bridget did not survive, but her parents have remained steadfast donors and volunteers to CaringBridge. And every year when we have our anniversary celebration, they celebrate with us and we all cry because we all remember the importance of baby Bridget and the incredible legacy that she has left behind. Next slide, please. So who is CaringBridge for? Well, CaringBridge is really for the patient. That's who we ultimately serve. But when you think about it, who's the person who's actually taking care of that patient? That is the family caregiver, and they are often the primary communicators. And what does the family caregiver need? They need support. And what does CaringBridge allow? It allows them to get the social, the emotional, and the instrumental support. On CaringBridge, it's really easy to ask people to help with daily tasks like cut the lawn, walk the dog, pull the weeds in the garden, whatever it may be. And I'll show you the platform in a few minutes. So CaringBridge is really for any health condition. Even people who are pregnant will start a CaringBridge page. The value of CaringBridge is it just helps you be in control of all the communications that you want to share around your health journey. The number one reason CaringBridge is used is cancer, and breast cancer is on top of that. It's also used for cardiovascular, stroke, infant childbirth, aging, hospice and palliative care, surgery, transplant, amputations, injury, trauma, neurological, congenital, and immune. So again, it can really be used for any acute or chronic health condition. I like this slide because it really speaks to the impact that CaringBridge has. 144 million visits annually, 5.5 million comments on pages surrounding a loved one with support, 320K daily visitors to CaringBridge pages. Every 12 minutes, a CaringBridge page is started. 72% of pages are started by a family caregiver, and 90% of our funding comes from the donors who experience CaringBridge firsthand, who pay it forward for the next family, with the average donation being $50. We do have a donation widget on CaringBridge. We do ask for donations, but we're cognizant that we can't do that all the time. So we also have a very strong email program where we share out practical health information, information that provides social and emotional support. So really, CaringBridge does an excellent job just kind of surrounding that family caregiver and that patient with the support that they need. This gets at the caregiver difference. And so, as I was saying earlier, kind of what are some of the things that separates CaringBridge from some of the other social network platforms that are out there today? There's no cost, there's no advertising, data is never sold. The author and the family controls who views the page. We have 3 privacy settings, and I'll take you through those as well. We're a nonprofit focused only on health journeys, acute to chronic. We get asked all the time by pharma, by different nonprofits, by for-profit companies to be able to advertise on CaringBridge. And for 27 years, we have said no, and we will continue to say no. We're private and secure way to activate a support community. And on top of it, we have a live, compassionate customer care team who is standing by in chat, text, email, phone to answer anyone's questions, to help someone set up a CaringBridge page if they're confused by it. It's super easy, though. It only takes a couple of minutes. But it's wonderful to have this team of people who can interact with our families. So feelings of being overwhelmed, isolated, and lonely are prevalent among family caregivers and the loved ones that are on a health journey. We have done research that substantiates this and demonstrates how CaringBridge can help people. So this was research that we did with Archangels in 2021, which is a caregiver advocacy group. And when Archangels compared CaringBridge survey findings to the national trends, they found that caregivers feeling like someone is in their corner, they're going to feel 1.6 times greater if they're using CaringBridge. Feeling connected to family, they're going to feel 3 times greater. Not feeling manipulated or resentful, 3 times greater. And oftentimes I get asked, what does that mean? Well, I was the family caregiver for my mother, and my siblings kept saying, you got it, you got it. You don't need us, you've got it. Well, I didn't have it, and I needed them. And when you have a CaringBridge page and your family and friends can kind of see firsthand with the health posts that are being posted, what you and your loved one are going through, it's much easier for them to say, you don't have it, and I'm here to help. And it's easy too on CaringBridge for the caregiver to say, these are the types of things that I need help with. And on CaringBridge, you can accept it. And the caregiver can see that that's been accepted. So we also did research in 2023, I think it was in 4th quarter, we did an email survey, and we don't really do a lot of research with our users because we want them to really focus on healing, and we don't want to get in the way of that. But on occasion, we do research. And so this particular research, we found out that There's a 4-time improvement of feeling less alone after 6 months of using CaringBridge, and a 2-time more sense of purpose being a caregiver after using CaringBridge with the research that we did. So the platform overview. So CaringBridge moved to a new platform. We moved journaling and posting, journaling and commenting, excuse me. We call journaling today posting. So posting and commenting moved to the new platform in February, and then we migrated the rest of the platform over at the end of June. So CaringBridge has a very different look and feel today. And one of the reasons we updated our branding was we wanted to be more inclusive of everyone. CaringBridge still includes many of the features families love, but one of the things we've done is we've just made it easier to activate a support community from your page. So really, a family never has to leave their page. They don't have to use the navigation bar to go to the ways to help. The ways to help now is pulled in and comes to them. In the coming months, we'll be adding more resources for families. One of the things our CEO, Tia Newcomer, really wants to solve for is social determinants of health. So we are developing relations. We have a relationship with GoFundMe, and it's been a relationship in place for 10 years, and they've been an amazing organization for us to work with. We also have a strong partnership with Mealtrain. We are still working to add them to the new platform, but Mealtrain is heavily used by our families. And in the past, 25% of our families have used GoFundMe. We are adding additional partners, Instacart Health. We're adding gift cards. We're also adding HealthWell, which is a wonderful nonprofit. It's a foundation that provides grant money for people on a cancer journey. The amounts are anywhere from $2,000 to $10,000, and it's primarily for people who are on a lower income. So we're adding them as a partner. So we really want CaringBridge to be a place that is going to be able to support people financially, with transportation, and with food. And I think that's it. I covered it. I already said today we offer GoFundMe. The privacy settings. We put this in place about, I think it was maybe 8 years ago when Facebook had their first security breach, but we didn't want that to happen to our users. So today, our users get to select who sees their site, and you can toggle back and forth between these at any point in time. The one that is most heavily used is the one in the middle. And what that is anybody who has registered on CaringBridge can see your site, and they can comment on your site. But if you're not really ready for that, and you think maybe you just want to test it and experience it with a few people, you can keep it on private. And then you can decide who sees your site, and it's easy to just share out the URL to your site and email. There's also a curated CaringBridge email that will pop up, and you can add the URL to it. You can share it in a text message if you want. And yes, so either with private, you can either invite someone or they can reach out to you and ask to be included. And then if you're really interested, say, sometimes when a police officer's been shot and there's a need to raise a lot of money for medical expenses and it's very public, those CaringBridge pages will be searchable in browsers and will be able to be found on social media. And the media will follow them as well. It just gives those families an opportunity to raise more money for medical expenses if they've started a GoFundMe campaign. So it's really easy to manage a page. It can all be done from the left side of the CaringBridge page. So you create a post to share your health updates. You can add photos. You can add a co-author, which is just a wonderful thing. So a co-author has the same rights as the author, and these are oftentimes the most heavily commented sites because you have two people that are sharing in the responsibility of posting health updates. You can share the page, you invite visitors to the page by sharing the URL or sending a curated email, as I mentioned. And then page settings, you can name the page, change the privacy settings, and view a list of visitors to your page. So CaringBridge meets the emotional and functional needs of caregivers through 4 types of posts. So we have these different icons that will show up in your posts when a visitor actually comments. So updates. This is like, well, this is when somebody shares a post. Not when a visitor actually comments, but you can share how you feel. Your status updates or news from medical professionals. Stay connected and keep loved ones informed and connected throughout your health journey. Milestones, you can share significant moments in your health journey, such as important appointments or reaching recovery milestones. Requests, this is where you can actually share what kind of support you need. And then tributes, this is where a donation to CaringBridge can be made. So CaringBridge really is a community coming together to offer support, healing, and love. The author requests or co-author can ask for emotional support and help with functional support right from the post, as I've mentioned. And I've talked about GoFundMe and Meal Train and the fact that we're adding other resources to CaringBridge as well. And visitor support, visitors can comment and offer emotional support and respond with an emoji. They can also respond to help with functional support, as we talked about too. And we also have a resource section on CaringBridge. So there's all sorts of articles in the resource section, expert advice on practical tips and helpful recommendations. There's inspiration. There's all sorts of stories from families that have used CaringBridge on a health journey. Those are really the most popular stories that are read, and just all kinds of different content that is emotionally uplifting to our families is available in the resource section. And that's it. And you can reach out to me if you have any questions, or I can answer questions now.
Thank you, Susan, so much. Wow, awesome. I personally have used the meal train for many friends in need as the organizer, and it just works really slick. It's really fantastic. Can you talk a little more about the other tasks, right? How do you organize somebody to pick up the kids, somebody to pick up the dry cleaning, somebody to take my loved one actually to a doctor's appointment if I couldn't? Where do we go for that, and how does that work?
You actually do that right in your posts.
Oh, okay.
And one of those icons will show up depending on what you're requesting, and people can accept it. We actually had a planner on CaringBridge, but no one used it because people already had planners and they didn't want to have another planner. So oftentimes people will just copy it and drop it into their planner that they already have existing. But there is a way on CaringBridge for you to actually click a button and look at all the requests that you've made and who has raised their hand and said that they would help with that request.
Okay, that's fantastic. Quick question. Can you talk a little more about CaringBridge's email program of support and resources?
Yes, CaringBridge sends out 2 emails a month. They're called engagement emails. Oftentimes we'll share resources, or we'll share some of the stories that we have in our resource section. We also have an area for a partnership spotlight. So we can share that as well. It's usually like a 25 to 50 word description with a link going to a website or to a resource page. We are global in nature. And so we do ask that whatever resource you share, that it be available nationally.
Excellent, excellent. I have some more questions, but I really would like to open it up to those that are joining us today. If you have a question, unmute yourself and ask Susan, or put it in the chat box. Okay, and while we're doing that, your live customer care team. So they have the ability to use phone, text, and chat, correct?
Yes, yes.
Okay. So like what kind of questions come into that team?
Questions will come in, I'm having a hard time logging into my CaringBridge
Oh,
page.
okay.
Um, I, I posted something and now I'm not sure that that's really what I want to say. They're not, not seeing the fact that there's a delete button, so they can edit and delete anything
Okay.
that's been posted.
Mhm.
So sometimes we just have to remind them of that.
Okay. Okay, so technical assistance for the platform, correct?
Yeah, and I will say a lot of the times it's just user error. You know, they're not com they're not seeing what's right there. Sometimes we all do that, right? When we're using technology.
Mhm.
And
Oh,
sometimes it
completely.
just you just need
I hear you.
a
Oh,
friendly.
yeah, I hear you. Some of the comments that have come in to just right now are our friends used CaringBridge when there was an awful car accident within their family. It was very helpful. Thank you, Susan. This was very helpful and something I have been considering using. I definitely would encourage everyone to use CaringBridge. It's a fantastic platform. I one of the things that personally when I'm looking at CaringBridge for someone I know, right? A page has been set up for them. One of the most inspirational things that actually helped me as a friend is reading the comments. So
Mhm.
I can't imagine, on the flip side, I actually can't imagine how wonderful it is to receive those comments. But even as a friend, reading the comments just is uplifting and encouraging. So I really appreciate that. Another comment is thank you, Jason and Tracy, for your inspirational journey. You are in my prayers. Thank you, Susan. My husband uses it all the time to encourage cancer patients. So that's really
Great.
good.
Thank you.
And
Thank
we
you.
also got a thank you to the End Brain Cancer Initiative for creating such an uplifting and informative webinar. Our pleasure. Thank you so much. The question on the author, you can have two authors or more.
You can have two. You
Okay.
can have an author and a co-author.
Okay. Okay. And then, oh, how's it work on the GoFundMe page? How does it work? Is there I'm just a novice about GoFundMe, so this is just me. Um, is there a tax donation receipt automatically generated and sent to whomever is making a donation to GoFundMe, to one's GoFundMe page? How does that work?
I don't think so because that the family would need to be a nonprofit in order for that to occur.
Okay, so
So they
okay, so the GoFundMe platform, typically the donations that go into GoFundMe for a person and their
yes,
medical bills or things like that,
yes.
there is no tax deductible donation.
There is no tax deductible donation. There's a tribute widget on CaringBridge
Uh-huh.
on everyone's page. If you made a
Right.
donation to CaringBridge, that's tax deductible, and
Yes.
we would send you they mail those out.
Yes. Okay.
But
I have done that. I have gotten an actual, now that you say that, I've donated to CaringBridge on honor of people. Okay, that's good to know. Thank you. Um, I'm very curious about HealthWell. Are you able to expand on them a little more?
sure, I can. In fact, I've got the collateral right here. It's a relatively new partner.
Okay.
They're a wonderful organization. They have been around, I think, since 2004, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay.
And I believe, based on the phone call that we recently had with them, they have given out 1 million grants. A lot of their money comes from pharma, but it's not necessarily, communicated on their site. And pharma does seem to be in the background, and not controlling anything that they do. So we've been really impressed with them, and we're very excited about adding them to CaringBridge.
That's fantastic. Really, really awesome. I wanted to let everyone know too, for anyone who's not aware, CaringBridge also offers printed materials. And we've ordered several different types of printed materials to give to patients and their families and their caregivers. And I also know that I know you support the Spanish language. Are there other languages that are supported by CaringBridge?
We have CaringBridge brochures,
Yes.
and those are free to anyone who wants to order them and share them with family caregivers and patients. They come in packs of 50, and we have a general brochure, a cancer brochure, and a pediatric brochure. CaringBridge was in Spanish at one point, but it just wasn't used. But I'll tell you, I get asked all the time for that. Though CaringBridge, the directional language is in English, you can use Google Translator and you can post and comment in any language.
Oh, wow. That's a great idea.
And so CaringBridge is available in 244 countries and territories around the globe, which is basically everywhere, as long as people have access to a free internet.
Fantastic. I can't say enough about CaringBridge, and I want to say thank you so much, Susan, for all of the hard work you're doing behind the scenes, and for sharing with us today. This platform does bring together community like Tracy and Jason were talking about, because sometimes people don't have community and they need to build it. And CaringBridge can certainly help that process as well.
And
so thank you so much. Have an amazing rest of your day.
Thank you. I appreciate that. You as well. Take care now. Thanks, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.